We'll get started in just a moment. All righty, we're all here. Let's go ahead and do the roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Baxter,
Here.
Commissioner Flores, Mayor Marino,
Here.
Commissioner Powell,
Good morning. I'm
Commissioner
here.
Sachs, Commissioner Weiss,
Here?
Commissioner Woodward.
Here.
Thank you.
And I've asked Commissioner Sachs to lead us in the invocation and the pledge. If you can stand, please do so.
Let's bow our heads and let's pray for our soldiers. Oh, gracious God, let's pray for our soldiers. Let your grace be a protective shield guarding them from all harm and keeping them close to your love and compassion. May we always remember that they are the ones who face the horrors and dangers of war firsthand. Let us honor them for their courage and care for them when there is damage to their bodies or their spirit. When they are lonely and afraid and long to be with the sure knowledge of your presence at all times in war and in peace. Let them feel, O God, deep in their hearts that your love is always there, boundlessly, unconditionally, and eternally. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do we have notice?
Yes.
Thank you. May I have proof of publication? Motion to receive and file?
So moved.
I have a first from the Vice Mayor, a second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor? All opposed? See that motion carries 7-0. Would the county attorney like to do the swearing in?
Certainly. Would all those wishing to speak on today's items please rise and raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thanks.
Thank you. Do we have any additions, deletions, or substitutions to the agenda?
Yes, we have a few modifications to our agenda, starting for postponements. Item number 3, ABN 66912 Westmore Pines Plat Abandonment. That we have a request by staff to move that to the postponement and a motion to move to May 22nd, 2025. On the regular agenda, item number B5, ZV PDD 2024-01280L Car Wash. We have some added letters in the add delete for correspondence, and we're looking to amend Exhibit C1, specifically environmental, to strike out condition number 1 and add in a new condition 1 and condition 2. Under ULDC revisions for the Loxahatchee Estates overlay for this is actually for second reading and final adoption. We're amending the agenda specifically to strike out information in our staff recommendation as well as incorrect information for the permission to advertise. And that is it.
Thank you. May I get a motion to adopt the agenda as submitted?
So moved.
I have a first from the Vice Mayor, second from Commissioner Weiss. All in favor, all opposed, see that motion carries 7-0. Okay, we are on to consent. Is there anyone who'd like to pull anything from consent? Seeing none, may I get a, before we do that, do we have disclosures for consent? And I will start with Commissioner Powell.
I'll bring it.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. With the remaining items that are on consent, I'd have no disclosures for the remaining items that are on consent.
Thank you. Commissioner Weiss.
No disclosures for the consent agenda.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
No disclosures for consent.
Thank you. Commissioner Woodward.
No disclosures.
Commissioner Sachs.
No disclosures on consent.
Commissioner Flores.
No disclosures on consent.
And I have no disclosures. Thank you very much. So now may I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
I have a first from the Vice Mayor, second from Commissioner Woodward. All in favor? All opposed? See that motion carries 7-0.
Mayor Marino, it's
Yes.
Wendy. Item number 3, we had postponed, and we do have to do a motion on that one.
Oh, correct. And do we have any cards on item number 3? Okay. So may we please have a motion to approve the postponement of item D3? Is that correct?
Correct.
So moved.
Got all that? All in favor? All opposed? See that motion carries 7-0. Thank you. All righty. We are now on the regular agenda. We are on item 5, L Car Wash of Boca. Staff, would you like to do a presentation? And board, would you like a presentation? Okay. Thank you.
First, we'll have the applicant come forward, and then staff can do a presentation.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, Madam Mayor, Commissioners. For the record, Donaldson Hearing here today on behalf of El Car Wash. Jeannie Descharme is with us also. She's the project manager for the project. And we have 2 future employees, since it's Take Your Children to Work Day, which are Jeannie's daughter and son. So happy to be here, and thank you for having us this morning. I'll walk you through our presentation. Our project team is here. Our traffic consultant is Adam Kerr with Kimley Horn. We also have representatives from Christ Fellowship Church here, Mr. Leo Abdallah, Mr. Justin Landau with El Car Wash, and folks from Marble Creek. And of course, our new employees or future employees that are here with us today. The request before you is to amend the zoning on this property to MUPD. It's a 4.2 acre site to make it consistent with the lands on the east and the lands on the west of it, and also to provide for innovative planning. The site is 4.2 acres, so it's less than the 5 acres of a typical MUPD, and that's as a result of a previous taking for water management tract, which is along Glades Road, which I believe we have discussed with each of you. The existing zoning on the site is CG, which is the highest intensity commercial district in the county, with a commercial high land use designation. And so we're looking to modify that to MUPD, which just simply makes it consistent with the lands to the east and the lands to the west. So the site is located about 1 mile west of the Florida Turnpike on Glades Road, just east of Lyons Road. And there it is, and to the north of us are the 2 GL Lotus communities that are currently under construction. Some already have homes there, and it just goes to show the growing residential in the area, which supports the need for the requests that we have in front of you today. This is the zoning map. And this is where the previous was the land use map. This is the zoning map. And of course, this just goes to show you the 2 sites to the east and to the west are existing MUPD, and also to show you that this is a very large, significant, high-intensity commercial area, as there are many of those that go as we extend even further west to State Road 7 on the site. The benefits of an MUPD, they make a project better. So the request that we have before you today is simply to make the project better. It provides for greater innovation in planning. It provides for connectivity. It also ensures compatibility and also provides for preservation, which is included as a part of this request. The car wash use, you should know, is actually a permitted use. So under the CG zoning, it's a permitted use, just subject to DRO approval. So we're not asking for anything special with that. What the MUPD does is allow us a more innovative site development plan. So the site development plan is on the site. We have really 2 points of interconnection. The first is at access point, which is from Glades Road. That is the existing access point. You can see to the south, which is to your left, north is to your right. The area that's blue, that's the water management area that was previously taken by Palm Beach County to support the drainage on Glades Road. All the other properties actually come all the way up to the road, so that's about an additional 50 feet there. I have a cross-section that will show you. So we have interconnectivity, and again, that's one of the benefits and requirements of an MUPD with the property to the east. It enables the traffic to be able to flow. It takes cars off the road when they're traveling between uses. Both pedestrian as well as vehicular interconnectivity is provided as a part of the plan. And one of the things that we want to point out is that really what makes this site somewhat unique is that we have 2 existing preserve areas on the site. And these are very large, mature trees. At one time, many, many years ago, before this area was drained, one of them was a wetland. It's no longer technically a wetland, but it is a preserved, beautiful trees. And so we plan to further enhance that in working with environmental resource management, but also create some added design that creates a unique site. There's not many sites on Glades Road that maintain the mature canopy trees that this particular site currently has. And even in our buffer along the front, we're saving a lot of the mature trees there, and I've got a graphic that will show you that. This is a cross-section. Just shows you we're about 50 feet before our property starts off of Glades Road. That's from that water management tract. We've got a nice buffer, and in the buffer, we're preserving the large existing oak trees that exist. And then you can see off in the background that area that's faded out. That's the large preserve area that's further to the west on the site. And so this is a visual to show you this is literally what it will look like. It's set back off the road, large mature trees, lots of landscaping, very well done. Again, we work very closely with and of course zoning staff as we've gone through the process. Again, there's a site plan and the preserves, which we're very proud of preserving. Now, when I get inside the buffer and beyond that water management tract, you can see the architecture a little closer. So El Car Wash is very well respected in this region. You should know that they sell clean. So everything they do is about selling clean. That's what their motto is. The newest facility here in Palm Beach County, I believe, is off of Atlantic Avenue next to the Josephs in the Ag Reserve. Again, very well done. They're typically identified and found and located in high-end markets like this. And I have a slide that will show you the nearest car wash being well over 3 miles further to the east. But they also have a large sustainability platform, and the district commissioner asked us to provide some information on sustainability. They do that. A car wash of this type, which has reverse osmosis water treatment, is able to take a lot of those impurities that are on the car, the oils, the dirt from riding on the car. They'd be able to circulate that out. Those go into grease traps. The water is then recirculated, and basically it saves about 2/3 of what a typical homeowner would do in their driveway. So in the driveway, all that oil and that grease and whatever detergents are being used that can't be regulated go right into the street and often into our waterways. So this actually is a great benefit in what they do. All the chemicals that they use in soaps are all biodegradable, and it's a part of the platform that they have. The nearest facility, car wash, is full service, or anyway, with like a tunnel like this is east of I-95, so it's a long way away. There are a lot of residences around that this will actually benefit and provide a benefit to. Also, the storage facility will provide great benefit, and I'll show you some pictures of that right now. So we hand selected the uses on the site. So Justin and his team purchased the property. They do own the property. They've closed on it several months ago. They purchased it for the purposes of a car wash, but then we hand selected the self-storage use. And why? A, we knew that there was a strong demand. All those new houses drive demand for storage, and also because they generate virtually zero traffic. I recently did a storage facility, it's been a few years now, up in the Jupiter area, right next to Trump National, right next to Admirals Cove, and immediately, I mean, on the same street as a community by the name of New Haven. They begged us to build the facility. It was done by Compass Self-Storage because it generates zero traffic. There's like, most self-storage facilities only have 5 or 6 or 7 parking spaces. If they see 10 customers in a day, that's probably a big day. Maybe before a holiday, Easter, or Christmas, when people are going to get their facilities. But the other thing to note is that the typical user of self-storage is a female. Most people probably don't know that. They're the ones that are responsible to go get those decorations and bring them out for family and to have everything ready for the holiday. So again, we sell security and we sell being clean. So a very, very safe facility. This facility is somewhat unique because of the fact that it actually has a drive-through underneath the building. So in working with staff to create the interconnectivity between our site and the MUPD to the east, you drive under the building. Many of you might be familiar with John Channing's storehouse in Jupiter, which is one of the most, well, not Jupiter, in Palm Beach Gardens, which is a wonderful facility. They also do high-end wine storage. Mayor Marino, I think you've probably have been in underneath that area for events that have been held, but it really adds an extra level of class and quality to the facility because you can load and unload out of the element. So it really is really spectacular and certainly worthy of the clientele that we would expect in Boca Raton. There are also no crime. We were asked to provide information about crime in self-storage facilities. One of the things that I learned, I first reached out to John Channing. I think many of you know John, who has the storehouse and is an expert in storage. I reached out to Compass Self-Storage, one of the other providers, Pinnacle, and some of the local law enforcement officers, and I've confirmed that there's virtually zero crime. These are very, very safe. They use either RFID cards or PIN cards, badges, just like you use in security in many of the county buildings, so they know exactly who comes in, who goes out. A lot of them use biometrics today, and of course cameras and security are a huge part of it. Again, the clientele are females, so it has to be safe. Lighting, all of those things are well. So, and again, this is different. This is limited access self-storage, so it's climate controlled. And so the industry is extremely strong. So it's different than the typical roll-up doors that you might be familiar with as well. We were also asked to reach out to our neighbors and to the West Boca Community Association to just confirm that there were no objections to our use. And we did that. We met with them. We actually postponed on 2 occasions just to make sure that we had the opportunity to do that outreach. So we met with them as well as we're requested to contact the Jewish Federation. We reached out to some of the homeowners in the Lotus communities. And not only did we determine that they did not object to the request, they actually support and think that there's a need for the uses that we're proposing. And then we, even as a part of that, had discussions with JARC, J-A-R-C, which is an organization that helps disabled adults. So adults that are mentally challenged still can provide value to the society. And El Car Wash, as well as many of the other philanthropic things that they do, it has a collaboration in the works so that their employees that they could drive to the site can work here, provide some of those services, and so it's just a great benefit that, but it also goes to show you the quality of what El Car Wash does. They have about 35 facilities here in South Florida. The majority of those are in Palm Beach County. They do an amazing job, and so we're excited about that. So traffic-wise, one of the things that we could tell you is that car washes don't generate a lot of new daily trips. They take trips off the road, and certainly self-storage facilities are the same. Virtually zero traffic associated with a self-storage facility that's there. To give you an example, a sit-down quality restaurant of about 5,000 square feet, which would be comparable land area, would be about 2 times the amount of new traffic. And of course, if it was a coffee shop, it would be like 5 or 6 times. So there's a chart, we provided that to you and to the district commissioner that kind of gives you some of those comparisons. Happy to talk about them, or we could have Mr. Kerr address that. So really, in closing, this request is fully consistent with the provisions of your comprehensive plan, the provisions of the zoning code and the ULDC. It's consistent with the MUPD on the east and the MUPD to the west. It's compatible. We've addressed really every issue, and would like to thank the district commissioner for taking the time to provide us some input. And of course, we certainly greatly respect her input, and that's why we postponed on 2 occasions. And so with that, I'll conclude my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
And speaking of the district commissioner, her light is on. Commissioner Sachs.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Yes, this is in the heart of my district, and I do want to mention a number of things. First, I want to thank you, both of the applicant's attorneys for, the agents for meeting with me there on site and going over exactly what you've done here. The picture that you showed is different than the picture that is apparent from the e-car wash that is also in my district, and that's on Atlantic and Lyons Road with hanging tubes which appear to be very industrial. The picture that you showed, and I wonder if we could go back to that picture, Mr. Herring. Is that what it will look like, the one that you are referencing today?
Yes, sir. Let me get you back to that page. So if
And while you're looking for it, let me just say that this is a corner that has had a church on it for many, many years.
14.
I think it's Christ Fellowship. And everyone in West Boca has bought pumpkins there, Christmas trees. It's a very, yes, go back to that picture.
Go to 14. There you
Yes, is that what it will look like, or will
Yes.
it look like the one that is on Atlantic and Lyons, sir?
It would be similar to the one that's Atlantic and Lyons. Of course, there's
So
a lot
this is
more-
not a correct
No,
depiction
it
of
is.
it.
If you look very, very
Okay.
closely, you can see this is the canopy, and you could see the tubes that, Mr.
Okay.
Justin, do you want to come up and just confirm that?
No, it's okay, as long as I know that this is what it's going to look like, that it's going to have it, because to my colleagues, this is a very important corner in West Boca, and this is Glades and Lyons. So the one that is industrial looking on Atlantic and Lyons, it is what it is. But this is a very classy area, and it's sort of, down the block from uptown Boca. So I just want to make sure that we're seeing a picture of what it's going to look like. Right, Mr. Yaring? All right.
That is correct. And do
Okay.
you want to go back to the next slide? Go back to the, go forward then, or keep going back to the buffer. Keep going to the one with the trees in front of it.
I think it's back.
Okay. There you go. One there. Go to the next one. Yeah, so we actually are working very diligently. We're set back
Appreciate it.
significantly, and it will be landscaped, and Commissioner Sachs, as that's going in. If there's
Good.
something when we're done that you're not happy with on the landscape, we will make sure that it meets your expectation.
Well, you have been, I have to say, I was opposed to this. I'm still a little shaky on it, but you have really worked very diligently, sir, to make this palatable to the, to what we discussed at the time. My second issue is really to counsel, to the attorney, and that is that there's a letter dated yesterday from JARC that has support from Mr. Zarelnik. JARC is where my stepdaughter has lived for about 15 years. So I have a lot of connection with JARC. Would that disqualify me from discussing or voting on this issue?
No, just because your daughter lives within the area. And
No, she lives at JARC. I just want to be sure, and then...
No.
Okay, good.
You're fine.
All right. Then let me say this. All these letters came between the time we met and today. So I can see your good due diligence in making this compatible with the area and to me. And you are really going to employ up to like 40 individuals from JARC in your business here.
Yeah, yes, we will be. They be used in different things, but absolutely, we support JARC. And just a quick shout out to Whitney and her staff right there, because JARC is planning another facility in the general area, and your staff has been helping us get those building permits issued expeditiously. So I want to just personally thank Whitney. She's really helped us and JARC, do more and provide more of the need that's out there in the community.
I just want to be sure, I want to confirm now
You're
that your company, this company that we're going to vote on today, will hire the adults that are living at JARC.
That is our full intention. Yes, ma'am. So the answer is yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Not
ma'am.
intention, but commitment. Yes. And the same thing with the full trees in the front.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good.
You have my commitment.
Thank you. I have no further questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. There's two things we need to do. One is we need to do disclosures, which we haven't done, and the other is I'm going to ask the board if they would like, if staff has any additional information. That was a very comprehensive presentation. I'm not sure we need any more information. So is there anything in addition the staff wants to add?
I don't really have much more other than, wasn't sure if Commissioner Sachs wanted a condition on the architecture to have them submit the architectural elevations at time of final DRO, consistent with the ones they presented today.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, let's do disclosures. We'll start with Commissioner Flores this time.
I have written and verbal communication with Don Hearing and Company.
Commissioner Sachs.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I've had verbal communication, a phone call with Don Herring and Janine Ducharme, on-site meeting with Don Herring, Justin Landau, Jean Ducharme, and I've received and filed emails to the clerk. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Woodward.
Yes, I had verbal communication with Don Hearing and Jean Ducharme, and also several email correspondence that have been filed with the clerk. No site visit.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Baxter.
Thank you, Mayor. I've had verbal communications with Don Herring and Summer Stevens. No site visit. Written communications have been filed with the clerk.
Thank you. Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. I had verbal communication with Justin Landau, Donaldson Herring, and Jean Ducharme, and received email correspondence that has been filed with the clerk.
Thank you. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I've had verbal communication with Justin Landau, Don Herring, and Jean Ducharme.
Thank you. And I've had verbal communications with Don Herring, Jean Ducharme, Justin Landau, Summer Stevens, and have filed all of the emails that I received with the clerk. Thank you. All right, with that, we need a motion. Oh, I apologize. We have one card.
Leo Abdullah.
Madam Mayor, I respectfully give.
You waive in support?
I'm in support, and I respectfully waive my time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Commissioner Sachs, would you like to make the motion?
Well, no. But what I... Thanks, I got everybody right. I just want to say, I want to thank staff. This isn't, as I said, staff has really worked very diligently to make this happen and to make it a prize asset. It will be a prize asset to my district. I really appreciate the work that y'all put into this. And I want to thank Mr. Herring and Mr. Ducharme for working on this as well as you have. We have a packet here that you've provided all of us that shows that you want to be a part of our West Boca community and to work as part of our community, and a place that I will be proud of to call part of my district. So with that, I have no objections to this coming in, but I'll leave it up to others to do the motions. Thank you, Madam
Commissioner
Mayor.
Flores?
I'll second
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Flores and actually Commissioner Woodward seconded earlier, so we'll do Flores and Woodward. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? See that that motion carries 7-0.
Thank you very much, and Commissioner, your input does help make a better project. So thank you all for taking the time that you've given us and helping us to make a better project. We appreciate your office. Have a great day.
Thank you. Okay, we are now on to item C6, Loxahatchee Estates overlay. This is the second reading and adoption. Does anyone need a staff presentation?
No.
Okay. Would somebody like to make the
Madam
motion?
Mayor, I'd like to make the motion to approve this item number 6.
And so I have a,
Actually, do we need to do disclosures?
no, there's no disclosures
No,
on
this is
one.
legislative.
Okay, yep.
No
So-
disclosures. So we have a first from the Vice Mayor, a second from Commissioner Weiss. All in favor? All opposed? See that that motion carries 7-0. We are now at the end of our regular agenda. Wow, this is fun. We like these nice short meetings. Okay. So we're now with comments. Does the county attorney have anything that they'd like to add?
I do not.
Okay. Planning director. Zoning director.
Two things. Next month, and the May 22nd meeting will be here at 1 o'clock. So we have to try really hard internally to zoning to keep remembering we'll be here at 1 o'clock and not 9:30. And the second thing is I inadvertently omitted the deputy from the comments. So yeah, he's not on here.
I'll put him in right now.
This is good. This is good.
That's it.
Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
Executive director. Deputy director. Thank you. I should say deputy administrator. Thank you. All right. Board direction. Anybody want to give direction for some reason? Okay, we'll go to, how about if we go to Commissioner Woodward?
Yes, thank you. It's following up on previous board direction that I believe Commissioner Weiss had issued about the school zone cameras. There was previous direction on that. I was wanting to know where we stand on that because there's a number of municipalities that are currently doing RFPs and choosing their providers. One, I know for us to talk about the unincorporated areas that we're going to be doing our own RFP for. But my other question was, as the municipalities are choosing different providers, which is, of course, I have no concerns with that. I was wondering, are we going to try to put some sort of
package?
With some sort of guidelines on best practices so there's consistency on the rollout as it goes next year, because I kind of call my district a bit of Blurrsville. You go from one city to the next, and if there's not consistency on what the school zones are going to look like, I don't care who they hire to do it, but as far as having just so that the drivers who are going to be going through different school zones in different cities, there's a consistent format, so that we're not having, we have a number of different crosswalks people get confused on. And since this is all new and we'll be rolling out in the next school year, I don't think anything's happening in this current school year, but in the next school year, do we have the ability to try to make this a cohesive look and feel for the drivers? Because I believe the goal in this is to be public safety, and if we have a consistent, when you enter a school zone, everybody is very aware I'm in a school zone, not just I could receive a citation, but also, slow down and don't hit the children or the crossing guards. So that's the biggest part of this. And if we have 20 different looks of this, I feel that we're not going to have this public safety that we're looking for. So that's maybe a legal question. I know we can't dictate to the cities what it looks like, but could we maybe have a meeting to come together as they choose all of their different providers for the technology, the actual look and feel of it? I'm asking them for consistency just for our residents and myself too. I drive through a number of school districts just to get here. I'd like some consistency.
Do understand we're finalizing our guidance on it because it will hit in two different levels. The one where municipalities have adopted their ordinances will effectively administer it just through our right-of-way permitting. So we won't have that say. And I'll hear you on your point, and I'll get there in just a second. The second half of it is this board would need to adopt an ordinance on unincorporated, which we'll be bringing forward. And I think to your point, Commissioner, that might be more salient to address it there. when we've got the board's guidance on the ordinance and what they're looking to see, and in coordination with hearing best practices, what cities are doing as well, to do our best to ensure that there is that consistency, knowing that what we will control, what this board will control, will be on the unincorporated piece. So yes, hear you on that. We're in the home stretch of having the guidance.
Is there potential for the school district itself to be in these conversations? Because they're the ones ultimately that would be able to kind of help us make sure that each city is doing what, just for consistency. I don't want to be the ones that the county's telling everybody this is what you have to do. But I think honestly, from the school district's point of view, every school, public school does belong to them. So could they be a part of this conversation as well?
They absolutely can. And again, we won't control the ordinances that the municipalities adopt. From our perspective, we will have the school district there, but we'll also look at what the municipalities have adopted as well to understand and try and maintain some consistency, and probably take some of that guidance as well to our right-of-way permitting. But we were very close. We just got a couple little pieces we want to clean up before we hit those steps. I've been in touch with a couple cities myself on it and let them know we're almost there.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sachs and Commissioner Flores, are your questions in relation to this topic, or do you have? I do have one. Okay, go right ahead.
Just a question for staff. Is it based on boundaries? Is it based on the roads? Or who manages the road?
Municipal boundaries. So we would, if they were seeking to install a camera in right-of-ways that we maintain in a municipality, they would obtain a right-of-way permit like any other process. How they do it, some of the particulars would be the subject of approval by the cities. That's where we'll look to meld what we're going to do, what this board will want to do, what we would recommend for unincorporated Palm Beach County with what we're seeing from other cities.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions on this topic? Commissioner Sachs.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, but this is not on, my statement is not on this topic.
Correct, we're moving on.
Get those kids. Anyways, I'd like to ask staff to return to the board with information outlining government services land development regulations and the approval process. So when staff presents this, then we on the Board of County Commissioners can have a dialogue that could explore data information and decide if we want to make any changes. In English, what this means is that if a government service or any government administrative office, if they want to, there are certain regulations that regulate their land use, and I'd like to have staff take a look at that and see if we should do any changes on that issue. And I want to thank, I've discussed this in depth with staff, and I think this is a good time in the development of our county to take a look at these regulations that have been in place for many, many years. So do we need to take a vote on this, or is this something that we could have staff take a look at?
How about if I look at the attorney for a second, and then
That's a good
Commissioner
idea.
Flores, your light is on.
We're looking at him.
Sir?
I think, I'm not sure how we handle board direction these days.
Correct. We haven't
considering-
really flushed it out, but I think what the commissioner is asking for is some more information about the Government Services Land Development Program, and I don't see where there's any harm in having staff do that research for us. And I would ask if the board is there anyone on the board that would be opposed to this? And I think that would be the way to do it.
I
However,
agree.
Commissioner Flores, your light is on.
Yeah, but it's not regarding it.
Okay, so it sounds like with no objection, we'll move this forward and ask staff to bring a presentation back to us.
Thank you. Should we give you a date, since we've been discussing this for a while? What I don't want to do is to extend it too far in the future, because government tends to be a little aggressive in wanting to put places in areas that maybe we should have a say-so in. So what do you think, Whitney?
If we could do something after August, that would be helpful for us, because our...
After August?
Yes. So August, September would be best, just based on the workload that we currently have and direction we're bringing back.
I think that would be fine, whatever you think.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you, with a direction
Thank you,
to bring
Mayor.
it back to us August, September. Thank you very much. Commissioner Flores.
Thank you, Mayor. I think most of you guys probably have heard what's happening in Tallahassee regarding the TDC or tourism development dollars. I'm extremely concerned. I know we're in a zoning hearing, but I would like to give staff direction to look into this and see what we can possibly do to work with the legislators to.
Already being done.
I know, but I think it had to be publicly said that we're monitoring the situation. I've heard from a lot of people who are concerned, and I know a lot of the people, our own staff internally over at Discover the Palm Beaches are concerned. I've had some emergency meetings, so I'm concerned about that. I know there is a bill in the House to eliminate. There's a different bill in the Senate, so would like to ask staff to get working on this and perhaps give us a individualized game plan maybe on Monday or at some point next week of what we're collectively doing and how FAC is also mobilizing on this.
The bill at the Senate is SB 1664, and this will be part of the Senate tax package bill. And for cross-reference, the House bill is House Bill 1221 and 7033, which is the tax package. So, and I spoke with Senator Harrell this morning about it, and it seems that we need to be in contact with the governor, the speaker, and the Senate president. Thank you, because apparently the negotiations are taking place up there and not with the elected senators or the elected representatives. So, yes, anything our staff and our Legislative Affairs Committee can do and FAC can do to help us. You know, tourism is a $10 billion business, and this is an effort for some way of helping the cause of getting rid of property taxes. And I want to remind everybody that if we do in fact get rid of property taxes, we defund the police, we get rid of fire, we get rid of public safety, we get rid of emergency services. So that is something that we all need to be shouting from the rooftops. So any protections we can put in place, that would be great. Commissioner Flores, thank you for bringing that up. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In response to Commissioner Flores, what I'll tell you is our Legislative Affairs team that is in Tallahassee right now is top-notch. As someone who served in Tallahassee, I can assure you they're on top of it. I can also tell you right now, from my understanding, I got people. I know some people up there that they're at an impasse with regard to the budget. So it's likely that the House budget and the Senate budget they probably won't come to a agreement before the close of session, which I think is supposed to be May 2nd or May 8th. I forget, it's been so long since I've been up there, you know what I mean? But what I will tell you is that if we request, because I'm pretty sure our legislative team is probably in Tallahassee right now, but if we request, they can either brief us by Zoom or they can, when they're here, can update us, but they're working on it. We're at a point where there's two different proposals. The House is way off. The Senate, the House has a very low budget. If they pass the House budget, get ready. You're going to be missing a lot of stuff. If they pass the Senate budget, it keeps everything steady, but there's no increase in the budget, right? It's $117 billion, which was the same budget as last year. So you still got some challenges. But from my understanding right now, as we continue to monitor the situation, they are at an impasse. Those budgets, they have never been further off. And there's been some times when I was there, they were off. So it's something that we should definitely watch, especially with the proposal to reduce. You may have heard about the getting rid of property taxes, but did you also, I think we may have talked about that, the reduction of sales tax. That would be impactful. for a lot of people. So I just want to say we got a team that they're top notch. I've worked with them. They stay on top of it. They're with us. Not with us. I mean, they're with the people in Tallahassee, the senators and the representatives all the time. So they can give us a real update. And if you call Casey Denny, Taban Laren, Vicki Nolan, they can give you an up-to-the-minute report like now. So just be aware that they're on it. I can promise you that. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Sacks.
Ever since we lost Senator Powell, all those contacts, it's very important that we have you here with us, Senator. And I echo what Commissioner Flores has said. And suggestion, maybe under the mayor's signature, we could write a letter on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County, since tourism is a big deal here. And this would have to obviously take a vote, all 7 of us, requesting that that the Senate and the House, as well as the governor, understand the amount of income we get from tourism, how important it is.
The amount of jobs.
Right, how many jobs, how many voters there are here in Palm Beach County, how important it is. Keep our golf courses green for folks. And under the mayor's signature, that may be a suggestion. What I have heard from the people who are the people of Senator Powell there, this is not going to end in May. There's going to be an extension. So, but I think that might be a suggestion, Mayor, under your signature.
Thank you, good one.
Something to think about, maybe take a vote today on if you'd like.
Thank you.
Like.
Vice Mayor Baxter.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, this is a time where I wish Ed or Casey were here because, we do, but we do have the benefit of having 2 past senators up here. And I have to say, so being the most qualified in the room, do you think a letter from us, support from us, is going to persuade this decision? Was the first half of my question. The second half of my question is, do you think we'll actually maybe upset somebody that we are putting in a stance one way or the other to impact our ability to bring dollars back from the state to our local residents? So those are my 2 questions for Commissioner Powell and Commissioner Sacks.
Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. That's a good question. It depends. A lot of times, either the governor or the chairman of a committee or either the speaker of the House or the Senate president want to hear from us. Even when we go up there, sometimes commissioners will go during the middle of a session or during the budget time to try to have conversations with some of the budget chairs, the Senate president, the Speaker of the House, and even the governor. So it really depends. It's about the constant communication. Sometimes, depending on who the person is, whether they're offended or not. I know personally that Ben Albritton, who's the Senate president, would not be offended by a letter or conversation. I don't know. I know who the Speaker of the House is, but I've never had I don't know him. We didn't serve together in the House. I served in the Senate. And then the governor, I don't know what his relationship would be in terms of a letter. I don't think he would mind. It just shows that we are aware and we're advocating on behalf of our residents. So in my opinion, I don't see any harm in it. But then again, it really does depend on the person or the chairs or the presidents or speakers.
Thank you.
So I'm sorry. So the answer is it depends.
Clear as mud. Commissioner Sacks, you want to respond also?
Sure. Respectful. We'll always be respectful. And I think that it behooves us, it's almost obligatory of us, to protect one of the biggest industries that we have here. It would be as if somebody said we're going to do away with agriculture. or we're going to do, we're going to cut off the turnpike or something. This is a Palm Beach County important issue. Tourism is one of those three-legged stools, right, Senator Powell, that we all talk about. And tourism brings in money, and that helps everybody. So I think a very respectful letter supporting one of the most important industries in our county. And I mean, we have probably the best golf courses in the state. Besides our beaches, and tourism is number one. A very respectful letter supporting our industry, which brings so much money to Tallahassee. I think would be well put and signed by the mayor, and all of us have an opportunity to opine in on. I think would be certainly would be good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Woodward, and then Commissioner Sachs.
Thank you.
Commissioner Weiss.
And I agree with both of their responses. It depends. I think that depends on the wording of our letter. Would not want to send a strongly worded, aggressive letter. It was on the Cultural Council board meeting yesterday afternoon, and this was a topic of discussion for them as well. And the concern was not to, pick a fight unnecessarily on something like this, because it does seem like there is a bit of an impasse that's happening, and we would not want to make anyone dig their heels in even more so if we allow, discussion to happen with our just encouraging of what it means to us, and not necessarily making someone pick a side, so to speak, because I feel like that's some of what's happening now. So, and I think Ed and Casey and the team would be very good at helping us word that appropriately so that we would not be disrespectful, as you mentioned. So if they're involved, and we don't want to make things worse, we're trying to help move this along. And however, our part of this is small in comparison to what's happening up there. There's a lot that they are having to work through. So I am in support of sending a letter, just very much make sure that they, Ed and Casey and the team, help us word it so that we're not making things worse.
And I think that's Vice Mayor Baxter and what she was saying. I believe that is really the takeaway from that, is how do we word this? Do we send them a letter that says, please help us to maintain our beaches, because this will also affect renourishment on our beaches, our 47 miles of coastline. This is what we do well. Please help us support that, as opposed to, what are you all crazy? But I don't think we're going to do that. Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to let my colleagues know. So FAC has just put out an action alert asking for everyone to contact their legislators regarding HB 1221. So I think it would make sense if the board deemed to send a letter as well. So
perfect. So Commissioner Sachs, would that be a motion?
Yes. At this point, I will make a motion for the board to. I'm okay. Every time Greg Weiss looks at me, word to make a motion so that the board, under the direction of our legislative team, send a letter for our approval to the principals in Tallahassee in the state legislature during session, that would impress upon them for support of our tourism industry. Here. That would be under the purview of our legislative team, as suggested, and that we take a look at it, and it would be signed by the mayor and also all of us. What was that, Commissioner Weiss?
you might want to get it up there fast.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Not come back here.
No, absolutely. Thank you.
Commissioner Weiss?
Just a friendly amendment. Can include our opposition to HB 1221. The House bill.
The House
bill
companion.
that's doing this.
Oh, you mean on the, I'm sorry if I may, on the property taxes?
This is tourist development tax.
Yeah, tourist development tax, yeah.
It's the House bill, the number of the House bill is 1221.
Absolutely. But I think it should go, I'm suggesting, we'll listen to the legislative team, should go to the President of the Senate the Speaker of the House and the Governor, and help with, as was suggested, with the legislative team to draft it and signed by our mayor. We are Palm Beach County. We have a big footprint, and our tourism does have a footprint. Thanks for bringing it up. So, okay.
I have a first and a second. Commissioner Vice Mayor Baxter, your light is on.
I'm just requesting a roll call vote.
Okay, we'll take a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Flores,
Yes.
Commissioner Powell,
Yes.
Commissioner Sacks,
Yes.
Commissioner Weiss,
Yes.
Commissioner Woodward,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Baxter,
No.
Mayor Marino.
Yes.
6-1.
Thank you very much. So with that motion, we will direct our legislative team to put a letter together of positive request, not a negative request, to support our tourism business, our tourism industry here. And I thank Commissioner Flores for bringing that up. Now, before we adjourn, are there any more? That was more board direction. How about now we do commissioner comments? So I'll start with Commissioner Powell. Any comments, sir?
Just want to thank staff for your hard work and diligence. Thank the team, and you all have a excellent weekend coming up. And I hope everyone had an excellent Easter and Passover last week. I did. My daughter did a speech in church, and she was amazing. So it was wonderful. But just want to thank everybody for your work, and have a great and wonderful weekend.
Thank you. Commissioner Weiss.
No comment.
Commissioner Flores.
Yeah, I just want to thank Whitney and your team for the great meeting we had last week. I don't really want to divulge the topic, but it's about keeping our residents safe. And I thought that your leadership was great, getting all the key people to the table. I think we had a great conversation, and I just want to say thank you for doing that and all the legwork you've done on to keep my residents and my constituents safe. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Commissioner Sacks.
Thank you, Mayor. My daughter's going to have a baby pretty soon.
Woohoo!
That's pretty cool. All right, that's pretty cool. And she's going to have it at one of our local hospitals. So I will be watching diligently. It's another boy, and I'm very excited about that. And I want to thank my colleagues. I think that we are very responsive to what's going on in our community, and I just am very happy and proud to serve with all my colleagues, to serve the people of our great county. Thank you.
Commissioner Woodward.
Thank you, Mayor. As I'm sure most of you are aware, in the city of Boca, well, actually, I think one of these is unincorporated, but we've recently had two pretty bad tragedies. We had a plane crash a few weeks back that you're all aware of. The Stark family lost 3 members of their family in that plane crash. And I'm in an effort to recognize the different members of our Palm Beach County and the municipality that did their work, and Tri-Rail, because the plane ended up crashing onto Tri-Rail. I am going to be doing a certificate of recognition for all of those, because with very heavy hearts, we had teams out over the weekend clearing the area, securing the scene, and a lot of effort went into that. So I will be honoring our people, and I'll be requesting an off-site proclamation for the Tri-Rail team that had to do some very unfortunate work. But we did have, Palm Tram was a part of that too, created a bus bridge for us to move 650 people north and south, because the Tri-Rail, that section of the train did have to be closed. So people were having to get off in Boca, back on into Deerfield, or vice versa, to try to get home that evening. So I'll be recognizing a number of our Palm Beach County team for that very soon in one of our public meetings. And then we also, just this week, had a terrible car accident that happened on Military Trail just north of Clintmore, where 4 members of our community lost their lives and 2 are hospitalized. I will be meeting with the family that some are coming into town. They want to discuss the potential for a traffic light. I'm not sure if that's the right solution. Engineering is already looking into it. So if any of you have received emails, because I think it was sent to the city, but Military Trail is our road, and this section we're responsible for. But again, highlights the, very difficult work that we do have to do here. And as we're doing zoning applications and stuff, we talk about traffic, but there's a lot that goes into how these things are built and intersections, how they're formulated. So we may be having to make some decisions on some of our roads in that area, because traffic lights aren't always the answer, but there are other solutions that we can work to make our roads safer. And I did want to send my condolences to both of those families. So it's been a rough time for District 4, and the past few weeks, some terrible loss. And I'm very sorry to all of the families who lost members and in their grieving process. Hope you know that work was done, and work will continue to be done to hopefully make our roads safer. So with that, thank you.
Are you requesting an off-site proclamation today
I'm going
or in the
to
future?
I don't have it with me. I'll be making it on Tuesday. I'll make the off-site proclamation. It'll be for the May board meeting for Tri-Rail to recognize them. And then I do believe, I think I requested an additional slot for Tuesday's meeting to bring in all of our teams.
Great.
Okay, to thank them. So that will be at the May 6th meeting.
Yes.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Baxter.
Thank you, Mayor. I need to appoint Ally Thomas to my zoning commission seat.
There you go. That does not take a vote, so that's it.
That's it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, staff. Thank you for a short meeting.
Thank you all, and we are adjourned.